Well, we talked
Hi,
about
Dan.
coming early
Alhamdulillah, how
so
are
we
you?
could talk.
Yeah, you just maybe
They did, yeah, last night.
figure it out.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't keep
Yeah?
you and done. You like that one?
I do. Nothing like the threat of jail. Did you wear stripes on Wednesday? She should be. I think she was on the phone. So she's probably upstairs. Yes.
I just
God bless.
talked.
Tracy.
Oh, hi, Tracy.
Hey,
How
how
are
you
you?
doing?
Good, how are you?
Hi, Taria. Hi. Oh, yeah, I'll take your card. Let me come over. I always hear, oh, Tria's doing this and that, but I never to see. How are you? How are you? Tired. Had a big day.
Well, was that your kids on campus I saw?
Yeah, walking around.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you just keep going. I know what's on that bag. See.
Bring kids through.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, you don't even have to go kitchen. We're not paying.
I talked
That's
to
what I'm saying,
Karen.
we're not taking kitchen.
She was printing something out.
Oh, yeah. And because she printed this for me and came down, she's so sweet.
Oh, Karen did? Yeah, she's really good. She's very helpful.
Because, you know, when we're on this, I went to school at Cincinnati. He said, Lay Hall. The apartment's in Lay Hall, which is, honestly, that's where he went to say, come out of school in that area, so he was know the area. Oh. It's a great site, and I don't want to quote what he's paying, but he told me, I thought he was really expensive. You know, like,
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir? Let's wrap this thing up. Wrap this thing up.
Mary knows I have the tissues out again.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out.
I'm giving you extra marks.
Okay, thank you.
When your evaluation comes, put that on there.
That's right. And I've been told where extra are at too, so we're good.
You know, the older you get, the more it becomes a problem.
So yeah, I don't have so many problems, it's this room. Either, or maybe it's the number of people, I don't know what it is, but how it's end up needing tissue.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Oh. I'm
That's a
tired-
first.
I'm tired. So we- So I decided I will have my minutes at again. I'm just so proud of myself. Oh,
If anybody could find it, it'd be you.
yeah.
Bloom.
You want to take the.
Can't really see.
That's not just me, okay.
Those are Charlotte, right? Charlotte. Eric, you know, this one is stocking. Was that requested? There we go.
Oh, okay, that's important, yeah. I was wondering about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now we'll get another.
Oh, I just wanna. You're gonna do that, you wanna do that before citizen part in the beginning, very beginning?
It wasn't on the agenda, that's why I'm sharing.
Okay,
I was just
so
told,
someone gonna add it, who's gonna make the motion to add it?
I'll ask for a motion, but I'm just sharing with you guys just to be,
Citizen participation or before?
I think we should do it before.
before, because it's not gonna take long. It's sharing, there's no, discussion.
I think we're up to 7.
Okay, so they'll have to be, yeah. So then procedurally, there'll have to be, someone who's gonna have to make a motion to do it.
I'll ask for a
I mean,
motion.
sorry, not a motion for the closed session, a motion for, to put it on the agenda. And then when it, like, someone's
Yeah.
gonna have to make a motion to put it on the agenda before citizens, you know, right after we do the roll call. And then after that, someone will have to make a motion to go into closed session and say properly under which part, like which
Section on F.
F?
Yeah.
What's F, attorney-client?
Yeah,
Or maybe stuff that's protected by statute?
she said F,
Okay,
OMA.
so
section-
whoever makes the motion, say section, you can just say section F, that's fine.
Okay. Huh? All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Henry Ford College Board of Education special meeting. It's April 10th, and the time is 6:05. Roll call?
Trustee Bazey.
Here.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Here.
Trustee Moses.
Here.
Trustee Pelichkov.
Here.
Trustee Subah.
Here.
Trustee Zahar here. Chair Al-Jahmi.
Here. We're going to need to go into a closed session to get some updates from academic search and from our legal. And I would like to have a motion to add this item to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to add the closed session agenda item.
I'll support it.
Well, you have to give a reason.
And the reason for the closed session is section H and F.
Section H and F, correct, thank you. So roll call?
I'll support first. And then,
I heard a support.
Okay, so this is a motion to go into closed session under, just so everybody knows, under section H and F
Of the Opens Meeting
of the
Act.
Open Meetings Act. F,
After citizen participation?
No, now.
Oh, now?
No.
yeah, now,
Okay,
we're making the
now.
motion now, yeah.
Well, then put a time,
Yeah,
of when.
we're hoping it shouldn't take long, that's why we're going before citizen participation.
Okay, the motion on the table is to go to, in a closed session under sections, you said F and H?
Correct,
F and H, F is to review and consider the contents of an application for employment, and H is to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. It needs a 2/3 roll call. Trustee Bazey.
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Yes.
Trustee Moses.
Yes.
Trustee Pelichkov.
Yes.
Trustee Subah.
Yes.
Trustee Zahar, yes. Chair Al-Jahmi,
yes.
7-0.
So now we need the motion to go into the closed
No,
session.
that's what.
That's what-
Is
No,
that
we,
you-
we amended the agenda.
Yeah, you actually don't need an agenda item to do it. Anyone can just call for a
Right.
closed session at any time.
Okay. Wait,
Wait,
On the point of clarification, the motion on the floor was to amend the agenda, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Kind of did
oh,
both.
that's what it was
Okay.
said,
Well,
okay. I didn't-
You can't lump them in.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
closed session. So
Yeah,
I,
with the
So
motion.
now
let's
I
have a
make
motion
another
for the
motion
closed
to
session.
go to
Into
closed
closed session.
session. Yes.
Okay, the motion on the table, second. The motion on
I
the,
second.
the motion on the table is to go into a closed session under H
And F.
and F to consider the employments of or contents of an employment application and to discuss material exempt by federal statute or state statute. Needs a 2/3 roll call vote. Trustee Bazey.
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Yes.
Trustee Moses.
Yes.
Trustee Pelichkov.
Yes.
Trustee Subah.
Yes.
Trustee Zahar, yes. Chair Al-Jahmi.
yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah, sorry, I should have been more clear. You don't actually need to put it on the agenda. Anyone can call for a closed session.
But, or amend, just say you're amending the agenda, and then.
Yeah, you don't even.
Yeah.
Call for a closed session.
All right.
We're missing.
That probably is.
All right, open session is in order. I do want to apologize for us taking a long time. And it's not for the trustees' fault. We were just going through a lot of information, and it's to make sure that every detail is received from the search firm. They want to make sure that we hear everything that they found, and it's to make sure that we have all the information needed.
A complete report.
A complete report. And so I do want to apologize. I really thought it was a 5-minute things. But all right, so we're going to go back into open session, and we're going to go next item.
Next item is citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action who have submitted a blue card by 6:10 p.m. or 10 minutes after the meeting starts to the secretary may speak at this time. The board may not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items. Therefore, speakers should not anticipate an immediate response to their comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, do not mention the names of students or college employees. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. If during those 3 minutes the comments become personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant, your public comment time may be interrupted or ended. All right, I have a number of blue cards, Chair. Our first blue card I have here is Professor Michael Hill.
Charles Hemme, members of the board, I'm back. I'm Michael Hill, chair of the Faculty Senate, longtime professor here. I was sitting with some colleagues today at lunch, and we all got into stories about how our graduate directors or people at the universities from which we came were criticizing community colleges and and dismissing us and denigrating us. And each of us, having lived a life here, are still angry that that happens. You know, we spend our time teaching here. We spend our time helping students learn here. We work with wonderful colleagues on our staff. We come here every day because we have a mission, and that mission is vital. Our reputation matters. This is why when this college is criticized, when it's diminished, when it's denigrated, I get personally hurt and very angry because I love this college and I love these students and I love the board, the way the board serves our college. It hurts when somebody hurts our students. And I believe that the criticisms that we've been having to deal with are hurting this college and hurting our students for no reason other than what I see as games. Don't play games with my students. My students are the reason I'm here, and it's the reason this college is here. I want to thank you, board, for holding up this process, for making sure we stick to a process, and making sure we pursue our next president with integrity and with seriousness. That matters, because that means that when you respect our college in that way, it means ideally our next president will respect our college in that way. And we need a president who will come in and protect all of our students, protect all of our staff, protect the city because we are an icon within this city. I appreciate your work, and I hope the president that you select understands that they will have to go out into the city again and explain why this is a great place, because our reputation has just been a little bit diminished unnecessarily, which is a shame. I look forward to continuing to serve here, continuing to serve the students of Dearborn, the families of Dearborn, and of course, our great college. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tyria Kendrid. Taria, did I say that?
Sorry.
Taria? Did I say your last name right?
Yes.
Okay, our next speaker is Taria Kendrid.
Good evening. I just wanted to take some time and when I reflect about this process and the candidates for presidency, I think about the fact that we need someone at our institution who understands us, someone who has been a part of us and our community, someone who has or believes, someone who brings a depth of proven leadership here at HFC, someone who is grounded in years of experience with us at our institution, who understands our current students, our systems, our challenges, our opportunities, not from the outside looking in, but again, from years of direct leadership and results. Someone who has expanded partnerships significantly and resources that directly support our students, our programs, and our innovation. In my work with K-12 partners and students in dual enrollment, I see every day how critical it is for our students to have clear supported pathways into and through college. A growing portion of our population here at HFC is dual enrollment. Over the past few years, they've made up over 20% of our enrollment. And so we need someone who understands the reality of those requirements, the understanding of those partnerships and opportunities, someone, again, with proven record of removing those barriers for our students. At this moment, I feel like Henry Ford does not need a learning curve. We need momentum. Someone uniquely positioned to lead on day one with credibility, relationships, and a clear understanding of how to move our institution forward. Someone that offers continuity and capacity to grow. Someone, again, like I said, who knows our abilities, our capabilities, our challenges, and can, again, lead us from day one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Professor Chardon Claiborne.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Again, my name is Chardon Claiborne. I'm a full-time faculty member with primary responsibility as director of the HFC Honors College Honors Program. I'll calm myself down. I was a volunteer on the Presidential Search Advisory Committee, and I address you tonight as an individual HFC employee and not as a representative of any organization or affiliation. I'd like to offer my viewpoint on what you might consider during your deliberations of the next president of our college. There's a book called Why Do So Many Incompetent Men Become Leaders and How to Fix It? And the author's central thesis calls for a re-examination of the criteria that is commonly associated with leaders and leadership, and a critical inquiry into the skills which are truly essential for effective leadership, such as emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and transformational leadership. The goal of the book is to educate those responsible to make better decisions when selecting leaders. In identifying leaders, we often mistake confidence for competence, a crucial error. The author of the book writes, quote, "When you cannot adequately judge competence, it is hard to recognize overconfidence and the incompetence that it masks." The author writes about the human attraction to charisma. Rather than being objective, we are less judgmental about leaders' performance when we see them as charismatic, and we are more critical when we don't. Henry Ford College is a complex institution, and charisma alone won't be the solution to HFC's problems. Some might say we've already tried that solution. To be most effective, the next president must have the competence born of experience in the education profession, specifically higher education. This would allow for a person to avoid the steep learning curve that is inherent in any major career change. Henry Ford College is uniquely situated geographically and politically, with a diverse workforce and student population. To be most effective, the next president must have the wisdom that arises from experience at the college, which provides one with institutional memory and history. This will allow for a keen understanding of the nuances that are obvious to an insider, but ambiguous or mysterious to an outsider. Henry Ford College has an accomplished executive leadership team, but it has also experienced unprecedented turnover in these ranks. To be most effective, the next president must exhibit and establish stability which comes from serving as an executive at the college for over a decade. The board's selection of the next president could send a powerful and clear message to HFC's employees that it believes in promotion from within and the success which is possible from such vision and action. It signals that the board values the intellect, skills, and abilities of existing employees and believes in their capabilities to ascend to higher levels of leadership. It demonstrates that institutional knowledge and history are not taken for granted. The next president must put the needs of the college, its reputation, its standing in the community, its employees, and most importantly, its commitment to student success above all other interests. They must understand this as a fiduciary relationship. Please consider providing Henry Ford College with a president who can bring the stability it needs at this critical juncture. We need leadership that epitomizes experience, intellect, integrity, and vision. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you so much. And we're going to adhere to the 3-minute rule just because we still have a deliberation to go. So when trustee Czar raises his hand, that means your time is up. Would that be okay with you?
I'll raise my hand when you have like 20 seconds left.
Okay,
so they know.
that's fair.
Okay, next speaker is Eric Rader.
Chair Al-Jami, members of the board. I'm also here again. Good to see you all. As I've mentioned in previous times at this lectern, this is my 3rd time on a presidential search. I was on the 2 prior to this. Each one has been unique in terms of how it's proceeded. Certainly there have been unique experiences with this one. But I want to applaud Chair Al-Jami, Trustee Petlichkov, and Trustee D'Ambrosio for their leadership and on the Presidential Advisory Search Committee. Very steady leadership. Chair Al-Jami is relatively new in that position, and you performed as if you had been here for decades in terms of that experience. And I think that helped us as we navigated this process. You had it's kind of like herding cats to deal with a group like ours. And I was proud to be part of this. I served as a faculty representative. And in fact, the two of the previous speakers were also faculty representative, or one of them was. We had community members, we had members of our administrative ranks, we had students. It was a very comprehensive group of people who I think were the best people who could have done this job. Now there were others who could have done it as well, but we were assigned the task. I want to thank the facilitator. I'm not supposed to say names, but Tracy Davis, she had the chief job of wrangling cats, I think, in this process. I want to thank my faculty colleagues who served with me, as well as all the other members of the committee. There are several in the audience tonight. It was a long process. There's a lot of pressure on this. There's certainly an enormous amount of interest in this position. But I particularly appreciate the leadership and the board, the board of trustees, because I know you have a very, this is one of the 2 biggest decisions you have to make, this and the one you're also going to have to make at the P12 very soon. And so I appreciate your dedication to the process, to ensuring that it was faithfully carried out, and that the person that you choose tonight as the next president of Henry Ford College is somebody who can lead us into the next however many years and serve the students, which is our ultimate reason for being here. So I want to express gratitude to all of you for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Eric Gockenbach. Did I say that right?
Pretty good.
Did I say it right though?
Yeah.
Okay. Gockenbach, sorry. Eric Gockenbach.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Gockenbach, a faculty member of 20 years at Henry Ford College, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a professional. 3 candidates are before you as finalists for the role of president of Henry Ford College. The good men have gone through a grueling process to make it to this point, and I respect all 3 for their efforts, experience, and credentials as presented. At this point, you must choose who the superior candidate is to lead the college. Choosing the person who has worked at Henry Ford College for over 12 years, in my opinion, is the safest and most responsible choice. The internal candidate has worked under and alongside a person who is the most highly regarded interim president and vice president of finance the college has ever had. He has witnessed and participated through rough times and stable times and learned the associated systems inside and outside of the college. The internal candidate has also worked under and alongside a second highly regarded interim president and vice president of strategy, who has led the college through multiple levels of institutional and programmatic accreditation, specifically the most recent institutional reaccreditation in the fall of 2025. As vice president of institutional advancement, he has led and managed the Detroit Promise program that has attracted students, provided counseling and advising, and through this increased retention, persistence, and completion for a very important student population at Henry Ford College. These are just a few examples of how the internal candidate has demonstrated knowledge of the systems and processes of the college, and in having done so, gives us reassurance that he is the safest and most responsible choice for president of Henry Ford College. Now, why would we want the safest candidate and make the most responsible choice? Sounds like it might be a little conservative, especially coming from maybe an older person like me. But the person with the most internal knowledge and experience of the college, in conjunction with his experience and responsibilities as an outward-facing executive, would give you the person who can move faster in a more cost-effective way than an external or less experienced candidate. Someone who knows the people, processes, and systems is fully up to speed on day one. I urge you to consider these points and choose the internal candidate for president of Henry Ford College. Make the safe and responsible choice. Then be ready for the potential of the institution to be unleashed through a person not desiring to put his stamp on the college, but rather because the college has put its stamp on him. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Margaret Bloom.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Good evening.
My name is Margaret Bloom, born and raised in Texas. I moved to Dearborn in the blizzard of 1978.
Why?
It was the best decision I ever made. 3 of my daughters graduated from Dearborn Public Schools, and I have long been invested in the educational needs of our students, whether chairing the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce Education Committee, helping to establish the annual Alberta Muirhead Teacher Recognition Awards, serving on Rotary Club of Dearborn scholarship committees to award more than $70,000 in scholarships each year to graduating high school seniors, and those include nursing students here at Henry Ford, and now serving 30 years on the board of the Henry Ford College Foundation. I want to thank everyone, especially on the selection committee, for their efforts in this presidential selection. It's very difficult. I served on the previous selection committee, so I know it's a lot of work and all your efforts. And I also want to thank each one of you, the Board of Trustees, for your time, effort, and decision-making. It's an arduous process. The decision you make tonight about the leadership of Henry Ford College will prove to be as much a reflection on you and your knowledge of the college as it will be on the candidates who were selected as finalists. Because of my service on the foundation board, I personally believe that the man I have worked with is the most qualified to serve as the president of Henry Ford College. With his educational background, team building skills, knowledge of students, faculty and staff, and the Dearborn community, along with broadened interactions with business leaders and donors, and understanding the basic needs of students walking on a college campus for the very first time, I feel he is the best person to tackle the job. His PhD dissertation research specifically explored adaptive leadership, examining how organizations navigate transition, preserve core values, and respond to cultural and generational shifts, which we've all experienced. That's what Henry Ford College needs, and it needs it now. And I am sure this candidate will be able to fulfill those needs. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, if I say it wrong, because I can't read it. Our next speaker is Eric Longs. Did I say that right? Is it Longs?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think we have enough Eric speaking tonight. Good afternoon, trustees. My name is Eric Longs, and I serve as the Vice Chair of the Henry Ford College Foundation Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Henry Ford College stands at a pivotal moment. We have a bold strategic plan and a transformative capital project on the horizon, and the community is counting on us to deliver the promise of accessible, excellent education. The decision you're about to make will shape this institution for years to come. What this moment demands is not simply a capable administrator. It demands a leader who's ready, who already knows this college, its people, its culture, its challenges, and who has already demonstrated through action what the future can look like when innovation meets purpose. So the question before the board is clear. Who has a proven track record to lead Henry Ford College into its next chapter? I believe that leader is the internal candidate, and the proof is not in promises, but in its results. As lead cabinet member behind the Detroit Promise Scholars Program, the internal candidate did not just support an initiative. He built one from the ground up. He designed a comprehensive support model for first generation and underrepresented students that has become the standard that other colleges and universities aspire to achieve. And the results speak for themselves. Today, Henry Ford College enrolls more Detroit Promise students than any other college or university in the state. Other institutions, colleges across Michigan look to HFC's Detroit Promise program for guidance in developing their own. This is not an accident, this is leadership. Under the internal candidate, innovation strive, not as a buzzword, but as a practice. When he recognized that transportation was a barrier in keeping students from getting to class, he didn't write a memo, he acted. Working in partnership with the Detroit Regional Chamber, he helped develop a pilot program that provides students with a monthly stipend to help them get to campus. This is the kind of leader who sees a problem, finds a partner, and builds a solution. Now just imagine what the future could look like under the internal candidate's leadership. As president, imagine Henry Ford College, where the innovation is already demonstrated in one program, becomes the standard across the entire institution. Where the strategic plan isn't just a document to lived commitment, where our students don't enroll, they belong, they persist, and they succeed. The internal candidate spent more than a decade proving what he can do for this college. I respectfully urge this board to give him the opportunity to do even more. Thank you.
Thank you. Last one.
Okay, our last blue card is from Easton Sokola. Did I say that right? Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Members of the board, I wanted to thank you all for having me. This is a great opportunity. I know you don't get to hear many student voices, so I feel like this is unique. We find ourselves at a pivotal moment for this institution. As we engage in the process of selecting our next president, we are defining the trajectory of this college. Not only for us, but for the next decade and beyond. Our college has built a reputation on diversity, excellence, and innovation. This foundation is what brings us all here today. However, the landscape of higher education is shifting rapidly. We simply cannot remain stationary. This college has done so much for its students, its staff, its faculty, its alumni, and myself. We must choose a leader that reflects what this college has done for us. As a member of Student Council, we are looking for a leader that can unite the complexities the complexities of modern administration while remaining deeply connected to the pulse of the campus. The standard of this office must be high, as the stakes have never been higher. The decisions made in this room will resonate for generations of students yet to arrive. I urge the board to seek a vision that it is as bold and ambitious as the people who make this college run every day. Let us choose a path that reflects our highest aspirations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Was that our last comment?
Yeah, that's all the blue cards. Yes, sir.
So I want to thank everyone for speaking up, and we hear you, we listen to you, and we do appreciate you. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda.
The next item is the presidential search finalist deliberation.
All right, so let's start off with the some expectation and agreements prior to the deliberation. And we talked about it before. We're trying to make the process fair to where we give everyone a chance to be able to give us their feedback from the trustees and speak on strengths, weaknesses, experience, and anything that they might want to speak to. I would ask that we keep it professional. Speaking on strengths and weaknesses, there's nothing wrong with that, but my suggestion is we don't cross any lines where we're disparaging or talking negatively about someone. The goal is to find the best fit for the college, someone who will help the college grow and be at the level we want it to be. So in saying that, my suggestion is we would do each trustee would get so many minutes. I was debating between 3 minutes and 5 minutes, but I'm going to ask the board, the trustees, what their thought. The goal is, 5 minutes, unless otherwise noted by the group. And each person will speak in the order, we will start from that and go all the way. And you will speak strengths and weaknesses. And then after a while, I would prefer that we hear, as you talk about the three candidates, this is not by no way a poll or a vote, but to kind of get an idea where where your preferences or where you're leaning toward, because that's going to impact, the motion, how we perform our motion. Because in talking, Trustee Czar brought it up and he suggested it, that we want to make sure that when we motion, that we motion based on, where people are leaning as a group. So thank you for that suggestion, Trustee Czar. So if the board is okay with this, we could proceed. The process after that is really just for the audience. Once we get to finish the deliberation and get an idea where we're leaning toward, then it's a motion, which would be second, and then a discussion further if needed. So I want to make sure we're on the same page, given that we went through a lot recently. I want to make sure if we're in agreement on the expectation. Do we need a motion to bring us into an agreement? Because I really don't want it to be questioned later on that we didn't do a motion or we didn't do anything. So I'll kind of rely on my trustee colleague to give me some feedback on the best approach. If the preference is to go this way without a motion, then we would go. Any thoughts, any opinion?
No motion necessary, but I think if anyone has any objections or recommendations, please speak now or forever hold your peace.
So we're agreeing on 5 minutes each around the table?
Maximum of 5
Yeah, sorry, 5 minutes.
minutes. 5 minutes, you find out is quite a long time.
Oh, I'm a comedian. You don't got to tell me. It's way
Not for
too
you.
long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So given we're in agreement, I'm looking at both sides.
Yeah, so would you like me to keep time?
Please.
So
All
I'll
right.
keep, if it's okay with everyone, I'll keep time and just wave at you when you have 30 seconds. Sure. Is that okay with everybody?
Okay. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Trustee Czar, for taking that role. If we could start from Trustee D'Ambrosio.
First of all, I would like to thank the three candidates that finally got to this time of the night. It's been a long, drawn-out affair. All three of them are excellent candidates. All of them have special qualities. In the real world, if we could incorporate all their qualities into one person, we would have a great president to lead this college. Unfortunately, tonight, we don't have that choice. And it's a very tough decision to make based on each individual's expectations. Going from candidate, I have them listed as not in order of any kind. Mickey, his presentation was excellent. He had a lot of good qualities. He seemed to know which roads that he needed to take to come to this college, to Henry Ford College, and be jump-started from the point as soon as he hits the ground, he's ready to run. So I give him high remarks. David Kamiziak, again, another strong candidate, and his strong points are outside this arena. He's very strong in the political world. He has a lot of contacts. He knows how to raise money. As far as being the president of this college, I think he would do a great job coming in here and leading this group as a college president. Reginald Best, I've known Reginald for a lot of years. I sat on the committee, Henry Ford Foundation Committee, for 2 years. He's done an exceptional job. He's well rounded in the community. He's present at a lot of different activities, as we've heard tonight, and at other times that, students go to him, they listen to him. So there are qualities that, he has and he can bring to the college. And being that he's been here for, I believe, 17 years? No. Okay, 2013. He's moved up the ladder. He's done the things that he needed to do, and he continues today to be one of them persons that I think that his demeanor fits this college in a lot of different ways. So from that perspective, and again, we're up here trying to make the right decision for the right candidate to run this college, and for our students, for our faculty, and staff. And it's a very hard decision. When you look at it prospectively, as I said, if I could take all three candidates and make one person out of them, I would be happy tonight, because I could walk out of here knowing that I done the best for Henry Ford College.
It would be best if we get an idea that where someone is leaning, if they could, but I'll defer to the board just because of the motion that we talked about.
Would you rather that everybody gives their thoughts and then we go around and say who we have a preference for after the fact, so that's a little clearer for everybody to keep track of?
That's
Well,
fine.
I'm not sure we can do that. That
Well,
kinda sounds a little straw polling.
No, that's what we did. I have the
Well,
minutes
let
from
me,
2018.
point of
when we
order,
did it.
point of order. Let me, before I could speak, I was looking at our legal, our attorney. We can do a straw poll, but at the same time, as we talk about the individuals, there's a preference. There's no vote and there's no straw poll. The idea is, to your point, you want to get an idea before we motion.
Just a suggestion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a suggestion. I think we're all smart enough to, like, without people, if someone feels comfortable directly saying, but if someone doesn't want to, that's fine too.
That's fine. That's
Like, I
fine.
think everyone can use their 5 minutes however they want to. Everyone has different natures, so.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. Are we gonna are we gonna do
Yeah, so I
it
don't-
now or do it?
We're not going to go back and say, I'm just, we're not going to go say, what are you thinking? That's a straw poll. So if we go through this and you share your perspective on who you might be, you have a preference, that's up to you. If you don't, that's up to you. But to do a straw poll, unless we do, ranking is allowed, just like we did at the college. So we could always do a ranking of the 3 individuals,
Right.
which is allowed. But to ask who you're choosing, who you're going to choose, that's a straw poll. So we cannot do that. So given that, let's go, Mary, you're next.
Okay, I was just trying to get clarification. of what you're
I just,
asking. Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna preface this with, no matter who we select as the college president, they will always have a learning curve unless they've been sitting in that seat, that exact seat. And I will give an example. When Jack O'Reilly became mayor after the untimely death of Mayor Guido, he had been city council president for decades, and he thought he knew the job of mayor. And he told me after he got into the mayor's seat, I did not know what the role of mayor really was going to entail. And he was very surprised at what he learned once he changed hats. No one who we select is going to come in prepared with every answer as a college president, no matter what seat they're sitting in today. And that's just a fact. I went into this, and I have done this since 2008. So I have seen transition of college presidents over the years, and I have sat in this position before. And a lot of factors weigh in that might not easily be recognizable to the community in the audience, because I have a different set of factors that I use to evaluate who I'm going to select. I will tell you that I thought Dr. Mickey McLeod came in as a very strong candidate. He has a stellar background in higher education and community college. He is as close as you can get to sitting in the seat of college president, being a provost currently at a very large community college. His learning curve, because he has sat in, worn so many hats over his tenure in his position, is that he doesn't know our community, and I understand that. So that would be his learning curve, that we would have to help him understand this community. But he understands community college organization. He also understands the P12, as he was a high school teacher. He has a lot of strengths that I really admired. I also thought he was very capable of articulating his vision. I also am looking for someone who is, unfortunately for many in this audience, might not be happy with a very strong presence of decision making. He appeared to be willing to stand up and take the slings and arrows, and was prepared to address challenges in a way that I felt we may be facing in the very near future, that we needed a very decisive person in that role. Mr. Kniezek has the other learning curve. He knows nothing about higher education institutions, but he does have a strong presence in the community where he understands a lot of the movers and shakers in the area and has connections that could be valuable. But at the same time, I think his learning curve is a bigger challenge than learning the community, is learning the structure and organization of a community college that has so many moving parts and so many directions that need to be, although he does have a strong understanding of managing and administering a large institution such as the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. So he has his learning curves. Reginald Best, I've known him since he was hired here because I was on the board. He also, but as I said, everybody's going to have a learning curve. He understands the college community. He knows and recognizes the community here in a way that the other two don't, even though David Kniezek is from the area, because he has been on campus. So his strength lies in that arena of understanding the college community and being a part of the college community and having dedicated his time to the college community. And I recognize that.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Petlikov. Trustee Muzz.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to preface my analysis also with thanking the search committee members who volunteered their valuable time, a large amount of time spent in interviewing candidates in the first round, and then bringing us a recommendation that we also analyzed and accepted, altered a little bit. But it was this full board that took the ownership of this process altogether. I'd also like to thank Ms. Davis for her diligent work, as well as our counsel, Ms. Ferguson, and everybody who helped with this process. Definitely extending our thanks to them. To Dr. Hill, thank you for your comments. I do want to disagree with you on the record to say that Henry Ford's image is not diminishing. In fact, it is flourishing when I see this campus and the things that everybody, all the faculty and staff do for our college. There is an Arabic proverb that says, "ما تقدر تغطي الشمس بغربال." You cannot cover the sun with a tarp. And that is, Henry Ford is that sun for our community. I believe that our process definitely was tested. Our processes were challenged, and we showed strength, and that we're doing everything diligently. Now comes to the three finalists. We definitely, I do agree with my colleagues that we have three outstanding finalists, and we could have had also two other finalists that unfortunately did not participate in the final interview for various reasons. But I felt even the finalists that we had from Minnesota showed a great profile that was going to fit our college very well, but unfortunately that didn't work out. Each candidate brings definitely unique strengths that align with our search profile and the needs of our students, our faculty, and our community. Dr. Best, he brings 13 years of continuous cabinet level experience to the college. He led so many fundraising efforts, expanded the Detroit Promise Scholars Program, raised our endowment funds, and also was strategic in our union partnerships. He knows our institution, he knows our people, he knows the Dearborn and Detroit community. Mr. Kniezek brings high-level executive experience. He leads an institution that has a budget of $39 billion with 16,000 employees. He also brings deep local roots as Wayne County Commissioner and former state senator. So he definitely has a lot of relationships. Dr. McLeod brings also more than 10 years of senior experience in higher ed. His interview showed thoughtful, collaborative leadership and a clear focus on faculty support. I felt he was genuinely, definitely committed to our mission, and we were fortunate to have him as a strong candidate. I'd like to thank the 3 applicants for their time and putting themselves up for scrutiny. Definitely, the background search showed the depth that went through. And I have received so much correspondence from the community. We have heard some tonight. And getting that all in, it brings me to say that I'm leaning toward Mr. Kniezek as my choice, but I'm willing to listen.
All right. Trustee Silva.
Thank you. I will save my long remarks for after hopefully the vote, but quick, brief thank you to all 3 candidates. Extremely qualified. I was very impressed on paper. I was very impressed through both interviews. I enjoyed reading all the feedback and hearing from all the constituents and stakeholders. So thanks to everybody who participated in that as well. I'm going to go through my notes briefly in no particular order. I'll start with Dr. Reginald Best. Dr. Best has obviously a longstanding tenure, especially in a cabinet level role here. His success in growing the HFC Foundation's assets, we talked about the monetary value, clearly demonstrates his deep personal commitment to Henry Ford College and to the larger Dearborn community. And his focus on institutional continuity, which I know several people have mentioned tonight as well, is very evident, along with his advocacy and contributions to local outreach efforts to support students and the local community as well. So I really appreciate that. Next, I'll talk about Mr. David Kniezek. So Mr. Kniezek is a non-traditional candidate, transformational leader, has vast executive experience, and a proven track record for securing major capital and managing large teams and institutions as he currently does. He brings high impact ideas and will bring them to the college, and I believe they're both achievable and effective, as we heard throughout his interviews. I think he offers the most collaborative approach and has an adaptable and transferable skill set and leadership style that I think, despite being a non-traditional candidate, again, is very transferable. That gives me a lot of confidence that he'll hit the ground running without hesitation. And I think, his background also, his ability and understanding of how to bridge the gap between institutional needs and regional growth, through his resources, through his experience. And then the ability to navigate the private, public, and political sectors is something that we can rely on and leverage. And I know that he's the non-traditional candidate without an academic background, but I think he has the experience and leadership skills that can really help us go to the next level. And then lastly, I'll talk about Dr. Mickey McLeod, who I was again extremely impressed with. And Dr. McLeod has, I think, the most traditional background and trajectory, highly impressive academic background and experience as a seasoned executive and currently a provost. He has a rigorous vision for the future, specifically, mentioned his work in designing instructional and institutional AI policies, and then increasing student retention, which was something that really caught my eye. I think he offered a lot of thoughtful responses in his interviews and ideas, was able to elaborate and expand on them. And then personally, I really enjoyed and appreciated his direct demeanor, his decisiveness, and his confidence. But I understand and I'm definitely aware that as a board member, my perspective is filtered through a very specific lens that doesn't always mirror the day-to-day experiences and vision of all the other stakeholders around. And so that's where I would have, some slight hesitation. But again, personally, I really enjoyed that. And so those are my 3 candidates. I will refrain from sharing my preference at this point.
Okay, that's fair. So we're just going to go insert. let me first start off and say thank you to everyone that was involved in this process. And I'm going to disagree with my colleague and agree with Dr. Hill. I do believe Dr. Hill was right, but in saying that, we as a community, as a family of Henry Ford, we prove to everyone that we will protect our integrity regardless. And even though it was challenging, we will continue to make sure that the reputation of Henry Ford and integrity is protected. So in saying that, there's three really great candidates, and in no particular order. I'll start with Dr. Best. That's the way my list goes. Somebody that I enjoy working with, very humble, very knowledgeable, and you could see from the people that he worked with that they came up and spoke on his behalf, and they really appreciate him and speak highly of him. I love his advocacy for our kids and how much our kids, gravitate toward him and appreciate him, how much he cares for them. Definitely has a strong background. He is familiar with the college. Obviously, that plays a factor, knowing the college, knowing the community. And in saying all that, just the support that he's given by the college tells a lot, that he's very appreciated and that he's respected. And often you're not respected if you're not competent. As far as the next candidate is Dr. McLeod, amazing background, educational background. When he interviewed, I was really impressed with a couple of things that he spoke on during the semifinal. One of them was he's a doer, so he was able to start the union process. He was the architect of the union process where he was at. They talked about AI, and he took the lead in where he was at, starting the initiative with AI. So he has a lot of good qualities. The challenge that I see is really the knowing our community, knowing our state, and knowing what is someone that has worked in many different places. Currently, I went back to a company that I used to work at, and I realized how easy it is to navigate when you have relationships. Some of my former colleagues are still there, and they help make the job easier. So relationships play a big factor. So with Dr. McLeod, my only concern is him knowing our state, knowing our community, knowing our cities. I recall we were to get $6 million from the county, and right now it's hard to get it because you have to have a relationship in order to get it. And that was something that was committed to us during the capital improvement, but we're not able to get it. And those are funding that we have to pay attention to that we're going to need. So as much as I like his educational background, those are the concern. As far as Mr. Kniezek is my colleague, Trustee said non-traditional leader. I always believed in if you have talent, aptitude, and experience, even if it's in other area, it does lead to strong leadership. These are qualities that you have to have, the aptitude and the attitude and the experience from different variety of places. He is somebody that's well respected in the community, in the state. I mean, a senator, a state rep, Wayne County Commissioner. So you can't find any place that he doesn't have any connections. He's worked in educational with the, I think it was with the state education in some capacity. He's someone that builds, coalitions, community partner. I run into him in different places. So well connection and relationship is important. He's somebody that, has the discipline. He was a former Marine. So I believe that he has all the qualities. And when we talk about budget, when I was looking at the criteria for me, there was a few things I was looking at: relationship with the union, handling the budget, and some of those things. $39 billion budget, that's huge. 16,000 employees, that's huge. So those are qualities that, and I truly believe that we have a strong faculty here, deans, cabinets, that someone like him could lean on to be successful. So in saying that, I am leaning toward Mr. Knizia. All right, Trustee Azar.
So I'll start by saying that I think one of our main duties is to listen to our communities, and especially the people here at the college. I think that's sort of paramount for us, especially in a process like this. We received feedback forms for, if you all remember, there was these QR codes and public feedback forms when this process was going on. And they were obviously have pros and cons on them. And two of them had about, half and half pros and cons, as you would expect. And another one had all pros and one con that described itself as not even a con. So I think that when it comes to one of the things that we should do, obviously each of us is up here with our own point of view. But at the end of the day, we answer to our community and to the college. And I think that we have a responsibility to listen to the community and faculty who took the time to come here, took the time to write us emails, and provide feedback through the feedback forms. And just empirically, those feedbacks were overwhelmingly in favor of Dr. Best. I think it's important that everybody knows that. I think, again, I'll say what I said last night when we were talking about finalists at the P12, is that it's clear that we have a great community because a lot of very talented people from all over the country want to work here. So we have something that brings talent into our community. And that's something very special about Dearborn, and I'm not surprised as someone who's been here for a very long time and decided to make this my home. Dr. McLeod is obviously a very talented person who comes from years of experience sort of doing this exact thing. And I do think, however, that when you have sort of people in your community homegrown that are as talented as someone from outside, that is, to me, an important factor as well. And David Knizia is a highly respected person in our community. I respect him a lot, and he's done a lot of things for our community. And I think that he would do fine in a job like this. At the same time, I heard what Trustee Petlichkov said about learning curves, and I agree. No one's going to have zero learning curve, but there are degrees to this stuff. And I think that could be a potential challenge. When I look at Dr. Best, I kind of look at a combination of someone who knows our community very well, who knows this institution in and out, and has experience with the politics of fundraising as something that he's done through the foundation at a very high level, raising our endowment from 1 million to 26 million, and doing things that have really showed dedication to the university, or to the college, sorry. So to me, while we have superb candidates, I think in taking all of the challenges that are going to be facing us, I think we should keep in mind that the next president is going to jump straight into a close to $100 million project, if I have that right, with the new building, and straight into a CBA with negotiation with 1650, which I'm sure will be very easy and everyone will be very happy. But these are major challenges that, to me, I'm taking into account when I'm looking at all of this, and taking into account the feedback from our community and faculty and all the people who put together time participate in the feedback forms. So we have a chance to do something historic tonight. We have a chance to do something that I think you can't please everybody, but I think the number one stakeholders are the students and the staff who are here every day. And those are the people who I think we need to listen to the most and need to respect the most when making this decision. 5 minutes.
Thank you. I was wondering who's keeping.
Yeah, I was keeping my own time. 5 minutes.
Appreciate it. Trustee Bazey?
First and foremost, I want to thank the Presidential Search Committee for their time. It was dedicating a lot of time, a lot of volunteer time. People, sitting through those meetings and working toward, their goals. The candidates for joining us, long days for all of them, and then sitting here and getting pestered by us with a bunch of questions. And the staff and faculty for providing their feedback throughout this whole process. That's something we need to hear. That's something that I always appreciate. I always tell everybody I'm all ears. We need to hear that feedback. I think to Trustee Zaher's point, we've received a lot of feedback with the online forms, going through a lot of that. But in my mind, that's feedback. We have to be careful that it's not a popularity contest. We want to make sure that we hear that feedback and we make the choices that we have with that feedback in mind, with our goals in mind, and with the knowledge that we have in mind about where we think that HFC needs to go. I also want to thank Tracy and Aaron. They worked very hard through this whole process. Emails at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, weekends. Tracy, I won't forget that you were on vacation, but you came here and still helped me. So.
She's still waiting for her cup of coffee.
Yeah. Anytime. So I'm just going to keep my my comments brief. I think we've heard a lot of the facts about the candidates. Something for me is clear about Dr. Best. He's caring, good, community-oriented man, wanting to help individuals reach their potential. You can see that in his dedication to the Detroit Promise program. He's ready to work with anyone who's ready to row in the same direction. With over a decade of experience here at HFC, he knows the institution, and it's obvious that he cares deeply about HFC. Dr. McLeod struck me as very sharp and able to articulate answers and solutions quickly and effectively. He's disciplined, seeks data and evidence to make his decisions. I appreciate that he's firm when he makes his decision, even if his superiors disagree, advocating for sound goals. He's a doer. When there's a problem, he works on developing a solution and leading. You can see that very evidently. David Kniezek brings people together. That's one thing I saw very clearly. He works to bring people together to work to mutually beneficial goals. He's a person who sees that all labor is valued. Stakeholder input and relationships matter. He's fostered and cultivated deep relationships across our area here locally, in Lansing and across the state, for the benefit of residents and the citizens he represents or is entrusted to serve. David appears to thrive in the face of challenge, building bridges, developing productive teams, and accomplishing lasting and impactful goals. At this time, if I were to be asked which way I am leaning toward David Kniezek.
Okay, so we did our 5 minutes, and I think it's we're at a point where we could make a motion, and unless there's any questions, but we could always have discussions after the motion. Was there any comments? Yeah, but I mean, the motion is to pick the president for the college. Unless there is, when I see our legal counsel who I trust a lot shaking her head, it freaks me out. So, it's like my parents, when I was a kid, somebody does this. So is there if there's any, I would appreciate any feedback or advice if you have any.
Very briefly, as you are aware, you have the ability as trustees to present any motions that you would like and follow suit with support or not, and discussion and a subsequent vote. You could make a motion to do several things. One of them are you could vote to narrow the pool of 3 candidates you have if you don't think that you're ready to make a motion for one candidate or another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I think that's at the event that we don't see ourselves having a consensus. So I'm looking at the trustees. Any,
I don't know if there's a consensus. Is there a consensus?
I seen 3. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. I'm gonna move to appoint Mr. David Kniezek as the next president of Henry Ford College upon completion of contract negotiations and approval by the Board of Trustees.
Do we hear a second?
I'll support that motion.
All right. Any discussions prior to doing a roll call? Hearing none, then I would call for a roll call.
Trustee Bazey.
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Yes.
Trustee Moses.
Yes.
Trustee Pelichkov.
This is where I always confuse people. And I was conflicted. But I'll go with yes.
Trustee Suboh.
Yes.
Trustee Zahar abstain. Chair Al-Jahmi.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
So motion is approved. We have a new president. Given with contract negotiations and all. Go ahead, Trustee Muzz.
Yeah, sure, Jahmi. Before we appointed the search committee, we also appointed a committee to do the contract negotiations, if you all recall.
Yeah.
So that was Trustee Zara, Trustee Bazey, and Trustee Sub, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
That's
So that the 3 compromise committee will do the contract negotiations with our appointee.
Sounds good. So we confirm that. I did want to say, and I know my colleagues have thanked the advisory committee, but I want to thank them again, and also want to thank our legal counsel, Aaron and Tracy, for being our liaison. A lot of people don't know what went on during this last period of time. Like today, I spent hours on the phone, and Aaron, I want to say this. I got to know you, and I appreciate you so much. You were very patient with me. I learned a lot about law. You educated me, and you kept me calm, because that's not my strength. Law is not my expertise, but you're always willing to talk to me and give me that advice, and I really appreciate it. Tracy, I really appreciate how you are on top of things. You pushed us. Sometimes we got frustrated, but you did it for the right intention. I do project management, and oh my God, you would be a great project manager, because you do push people, but in the right way. As far as the advisory board, I see a lot of faces here. Denise, Ashley, a lot of people. Adele's over there. I feel like we connected. It's a group that we're going to have a relationship for a long time. We have an appreciation for each other, appreciation for what was done, and we protected the integrity of the search process. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone, and I really mean it from the heart. Thank you. Trustee.
I will also have some closing remarks. I had written out a nice little speech, but we'll keep it brief, because I want to echo a lot of the same sentiments, just to thank everybody involved, from the advisory committee, academic search, Tracy and Aaron, of course. Thank you so much. Thank you to the faculty and staff for your feedback, community stakeholders. Thank you. Thank you to the staff members that have assisted in coordinating all of the events and the day-to-day things. Those went unnoticed. I know a lot of you were here from morning till night, especially those couple of days. So thank you for all, the technicalities and logistics of it. Thank you to all 120 candidates who applied for your courage to apply and your willingness to serve this college. You know, that means a lot to see such a large number, and it really speaks volumes to this opportunity and this community. And then thank you to my fellow board members for getting us to this point. And then especially to our chair who, you know, for his steady leadership and for guiding us through everything. It's really appreciated. And then I know a lot of people, you know, were waiting for a decision and the room kind of cleared out a bit. But I do want to say that hopefully this is a decision that we will all get behind and that we will all stand together. I think the last couple of months or through this process was a little bumpy to say the least, more for, you know, some than others. But I think it's time that we just turn the page, and I'm excited and ready. I hope the board members are also excited and ready to move on and move forward to a new direction in the future that we can all be excited about. And so I ask that all the stakeholders and all our staff, faculty, and students please do the same and keep, you know, positive energy and open mind, because it is now that we need the support. Whatever new president will be there or was going to be there is going to need the support. And I think it's our duty to do that and to stand by them. So that's what I have to say. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? If there's no other comments, so no other business, we move that the meeting be adjourned. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Great job. Thank you. You made the right decision.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
All right.
Yeah.
That's about all I